Babysitter returns a 2-month-old baby boy to their mother dead in their car seat. My name's Emma. This is Tiki Bar True Crimes, and I'm going to tell you the story of Marrissa Tietsort. Marrissa, growing up, had a very troubled childhood. Her stepfather was perverted and used to sexually abuse her and her sister. Her mother was a drug addict and would sell her to pay for drugs. She would be screaming in the bathroom. No help would come whilst a drug dealer abused her. To cope with this trauma, she became a drug addict herself. Marrissa was a user of meth and cocaine. She was described as low functioning and said she was drawn to looking after children. She had 6 of her own, 4 of which, prior to the baby boy's death, had been already taken away from her. And she was at the time pregnant with her 7th child. Now, on October the 18th, 2018, Benson, the 2-month-old boy, and his older brother were in Marissa's care. She also had 1 child of her own. At around 4:30 p.m, Marrissa says that she got frustrated with Benson and threw him into the playpen. He died, and she later admits that she provided no CPR, no help, obviously didn't call 911. What did she do then? 2 hours later, at 6:30 p.m, she takes Benson in the car seat, dead, his older brother and her child out for a Mcdonald's. She places Benson in the booth next to them so that they can all eat. She then returns and the mother picks him up, and what she does is she puts him in a snowsuit. She puts a cap that covers his eyes and pretends as though he's asleep. His mother takes them to the laundromat, and whilst they're there, it's caught on CCTV. She's running errands and she goes to check on Benson, finds that he is cold and completely stiff, gets him out, puts him on the table, calls 911. They instruct her to do CPR. Once the police arrive, he is pronounced dead at the scene. She tries to contact Marrissa. She texts her, calls her, says, Benson's dead. Did anything happen, etc., etc. Can't get hold of her. The police finally track her down because her phone is on, to a motel where she is fast asleep. They tell her what's happened to Benson and she is surprised. She had no idea. She never received the texts from the mother because her phone was off. Now, the police knew this wasn't true because this is how they tracked her. They take her into custody and soon she starts telling them really what happened. As I said, she was frustrated. She threw him in the playpen. They later went for McDonald's. After the mother picked them up, she then goes out with her son and her boyfriend swimming. Then they go back to the motel and fall fast asleep as if nothing happened. Now, once this has now arisen, police start investigating, and it turns out in the August of that year, so a couple of months prior, an 11-month-old baby girl was in Marissa's care. Whilst in Marissa's care, she rings up the mother to say that the baby girl has fallen off the sofa and has rug burns. When the mother picks this child up, she is immediately suspicious. She takes her straight to the hospital where they say, this isn't an accident, this is child abuse. 7 days before Benson's death, Marrissa gets a court order from this case to say that she is not allowed to look after any young children. Now, I read in one article that she rang Benson's mother and said, look, I have this court order. I'm not allowed to look after young children. Shh, don't tell anyone. Now, I was Benson's mother. I would be racing to get my children back. I would not want someone who has a court order against them for child abuse looking after my children. That 11-month baby girl was traumatized by the events. The mother said it took 2 years for anyone to be able to touch her head. So the mother couldn't comb her hair, couldn't brush her teeth. It really affected her achieving any milestones. So this was really traumatic. Also, I don't want to go down the thing of sort of victim blaming. I mean, Benson is the victim, but the mother is that severe of the victim's side. But Marrissa was a drug addict. And did she not know that either? They do a post-mortem on Benson and discover that he suffered blunt force injuries to his head and his tailbone was snapped off. And they said this could only be done through significant force. All throughout this, Marrissa denies that she was the one that actually killed him. Also, in 2017, although there doesn't seem to be as much information on this case, that a 3-month baby in Marissa's care suffers a head injury. So there seems to be warning signs. She is taken to court, and I will say throughout this process, in her mugshots and things, she's smiling. It's like she just doesn't care. She's laughing in the courtroom. She's convicted not only for Benson's death, but for the 11-month-old girl who suffered child abuse. She gets 40 years in prison and 20 years supervision. She will never be allowed to look after children again. The judge described her as a monster. He said, regardless of your childhood trauma, your acts were depraved. Benson's mother said that he loved tickles and car rides, and she misses him thoroughly and often wonders what his first milestones would have been, when he would have achieved them, what he would have been into now. This is the case of Marrissa Tietsort, the McDonald's monster. If you like my content, please remember to like, subscribe and comment, and I will see you in the next one.